Number 3, Brian from Columbus, Ohio. I share your passion for U.S. Civil War history. My wife and I recently visited Gettysburg Battlefield. Lovely. I spent a day that is one of the best days of my life, alone. I'd been jilted by a girl, was licking my wounds, went there. Cloudy, misty, rainy day, alone in Gettysburg at the electric map, and then into the tour bus sitting there. I'm only one other person on the tour bus where you drive through the battlefield, and a low fog, but see-throughable, not pea soup, laid over the battlefield. And as they piped in the sounds of the battle, at Little Round Top and such, you could practically see it. And I remember thinking, oddly enough, I know people would say, God, what a melancholy scene. It made me feel that life was worth living. I was intrigued that I could have so much fun alone. You know, at that point in your life, when you're a kid, you have these things about, oh God, I have to be in love, I have to be completed. And indeed, my wife completes me. I do find that. But you have to go to that of choice, not of need. Yeah. And up to that point in my life, I had gone to it of need. I thought that was a very important day where I rode through alone, and at the end of the day, went to a Shoney's or something and had a salad and a grilled cheese, and went back to my room in a bad hotel and thought, I'm quite pleased with this day. And gives you that toehold after you've just been jilted. I knew I would be blown away, but my wife was not that much into history, was in tears by the end of the battlefield tour. Yeah, it's amazing. Just wondering, what intrigues you the most about this period in U.S. history, and what can we learn from it in these current chaotic, on an expressway to socialism times? Well, I'm gobsmacked at the heroism of people. I'm not a heroic cat. I view myself as a pale shade compared to these people. Now, do I know, I'm intrigued by, I know enough about myself that I could not live with myself if I didn't answer the call. If I had been drafted in Vietnam, you know, and you have to register, and I didn't get it. I'm intrigued by the guy who doesn't get drafted, and this is why I can't disparage John Kerry completely. That blows my mind that a Brahmin from Boston, everybody can say, oh, he went over and half-stepped it. No. You sign up to go to Vietnam and you don't have to? That tells me something about the man. I find him presumptuous and imperious, and I sometimes shake my head, but I can't flat-out condemn him because I think of that. I'm blown away by heroism, and I don't feel that I'm that heroic a man, so I'm drawn to it. And I'd like to think that what happens is, if your circumstances dictate that you're drawn into a potentially a tableau of heroism, that you answer the call. I don't know that everybody gets out of bed in the morning and thinks they're going to be here. I know I would have went because I couldn't live with myself if I beat it or went to Canada or cheated on it or any of that. I'd like to think that if it hit the fan, that I would be one of the guys on the plane who goes up the aisle and storms the cockpit. You know, I think I would, but you never know until you answer that. So when I see depictions of people who did make that call, I'm fascinated by it, fascinated by the greatness of the human spirit, which exists hand in hand with sometimes where you shake your head at the human spirit and go, how can it be that wanting? And every time you get a little too hangdog about it, you see something that just boggles the mind. Joe Delaney, Kansas City Chief, halfback years ago, kid with a great career in front of him, just picnicking at a lakeside, barbecuing, did not know how to swim. 2 young children out in the lake drowning. Joe Delaney goes in to get them and dies. That boggles my mind. To this day I think of Delaney, and I think about all the Hall of Famers the Chiefs have, and I think, well, who's the Hall of Famer, you know? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going into a lake and not knowing how to swim to rescue a stranger's kid? Unbelievable. Enjoy these samples of the Bathrobe sessions, a weekly video available only to members of the DMZ, the Dennis Miller Zone, on DennisMillerRadio.com.